is muted. Oh, there we are. And a very good afternoon to you. I'm Seven Weather Meteorologist Josh Nichols here with my colleague, meteorologist Mary Beth Roble.
Hello.
And welcome to our conversation about the lake effect snow that is going to be developing here over the course of the next several hours. So we're inviting you to interact with us and let us know what your thoughts are. And, if you have any questions, just chime in. We're going to go ahead and get started here now and let you know what you can expect. So we are thinking that we are going to be dealing with several hours of lake effect snow. I think the snow band will be drifting into the metro overnight tonight and into early on in the morning on your Thursday. How much snow will we see? Well, in the most persistent snow bands, both Mary Beth and I think we could easily see somewhere between 2 and 3 feet of snow. Now, you're going to see the areas that will be targeted here in just a few moments, but just to give you a heads up and a sort of a broad brush idea, it's pretty much the same areas that got hit hard last time. We're talking Chautauqua County, Cattaraugus County, ski country, the ridgeline of ski country. So let's kind of go through here what we're expecting here in terms of snowfall. And Mary Beth, if you want to chime in on this as well,
Yeah, we just got a question right when the broadcast started. Somebody asked, what part of the city is going to get snow? I think the southern half, like South Buffalo, has a better chance of picking up more snow than North Buffalo does. I think that's where the dividing line may actually land up. From South Buffalo down to Lackawanna, that's probably where the heavier snow will start. But we'll still get some snow in the metro area because that band is going to be lifting into the city during the overnight, but it's not going to stay there all day tomorrow. Really, the worst part of the day, if we have it in the metro area, will be tomorrow morning, but things should improve in the metro area as we get into Thursday afternoon. It's areas south, the south towns, and then over into ski country, as you mentioned, and then over into Wyoming County, to the western half of Wyoming County. Generally from Route 20 southward, you're going to get some measurable snow for sure that might be persistent at times.
And of course, the nature of the lake effect snow, as many of you know, I like to say, is about the haves and the have-nots. And if you have, boy, do you ever have.
Yep.
And if you have not, boy, do you ever have not. And I think this is a very similar kind of scenario to what we saw last time. Although the band might make it a little bit further, as Mary Beth was alluding to, into the metro. But in the north towns, you might just get a trace to an inch at most. But the amounts will pick up dramatically.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I do have to say the wind is going to be a big component tomorrow.
That's right.
More so than it was in the previous two storms, because we are going to have wind gusts 45 to even 50 miles an hour. I wouldn't be surprised to see some spotty power outages as well. But it's the drive from Buffalo to Erie that is probably a no-no for the day tomorrow, because the visibility with those, you're going to have to drive through a lake effect snow band that may go for a long fetch of the New York State Thruway from Buffalo to Erie, and your visibility is going to be near zero or at zero at times.
I'm sorry, just to chime in, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mary Beth, because this band that develops will have legs. I mean, it will carry it all the way out into the Finger Lakes, into the Bristol Hills.
Right.
So I thought it would be a good idea here to kind of track the band every step of the way. So this is about 3 o'clock in the morning, and you'll see that band is trying to march north into South Buffalo at that time. It could get pretty rough and rugged into South Buffalo into the wee hours of the morning. But note that the band then starts a mild retreat just to the south, but it really sets up shop there over southern Erie County into the Boston Hills and into Wyoming County, and it just kind of sticks around there for several hours. So I think southern Erie County hits the jackpot with the lake effect snow. And then note that it's pretty much nothing more than a flurry by the time we get into Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it really sharply improves. I think we'll see a little sunshine Friday afternoon. But until then, we have very, very potentially dangerous travel coming our way for tomorrow, especially if you're near or around that snow band or in that snow band. But here's the lake effect snow warnings that go into effect starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, in about 9 minutes. And it goes all the way till Friday at 1 o'clock. Now, I think for the next couple of hours, if you live in the southern tier, I think it's manageable travel. Just take it slow because we do have some snow and wet snow across the southern tier along that I-80, 86 corridor. So just take it easy, but you don't have any heavy accumulations there right now. So just take it easy. It's not really a big issue.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that the wet snow that's falling right now, if there is some into the southern tier at this point, is not really even lake effect. It's associated with the system that we have that's ultimately going to drive the lake effect machine. But this is I call it the system snow or the synoptic snow.
Yes.
And then we get in on the lake effect. Here are you were alluding to some of those wind gusts, and we'll need to adjust this for later, but easily some 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts down into the higher ground, and easily some 40 to 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Buffalo throughout the morning tomorrow. So you combine that with snowfall rates to the tune of 2 to 3 inches per hour, and you will have whiteouts within the band and lots of blowing and drifting, to be sure. And so really, especially if you're driving, as Mary Beth was saying, on the 90 from about Dunkirk into Pennsylvania, it's just not a wise idea at all. Check out some of these wind chills as well. Again, you combine the wind with the temperature, you get what it feels like. It feels like 2 in Jamestown waking up tomorrow morning with some of that snow coming down. Will feel like 7 in Dunkirk, and it will feel like it is below 0 midday on Thursday into early.
Josh?
Yeah.
I just got to mention, there's a lot of senior people that have emphysema. Some people have respiratory conditions right now. They have minor colds, but you have to really be careful when you're going out into this type of cold with these gusty winds and these low temperatures in the 20s. We haven't experienced this so far this year, so it's kind of like a shock to the system. But if you have emphysema, if you have respiratory conditions, the senior people and the young children, it's really not a good idea to be outside for long periods of time. And you probably want to wear a face covering, definitely your hats, your gloves, and your heavier winter coat as well to keep yourself protected.
Yeah, and this is not fit for man nor for beast. So remember your animals. Don't leave the dogs out. Make sure that that they're protected. Think about their paws as well. When you do take them out and they hit the salt, it's very irritating to the palms. I see a question coming in here. What should we expect in Clarence Williamsville area over the next 15 to 20 hours? And
I don't think Clarence is going to get whopped with a lot of snow. I think if you get any snow, it will be manageable. It's really areas south of Buffalo that are going to take the brunt of it. But I'd say we'd get several inches, maybe up to a half foot in some areas of northern Erie County.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Thought we'd take a look here at Super Doppler and satellite put together. And you can see there is some wet snow coming down. I was driving in from Rochester and through Batavia just a couple hours ago, and the snow had definitely started to fall, mixed in with some of the rain. We're kind of in between the system snow and the lake effect right now. There is some light snow coming down into Cattaraugus County, Allegheny County, also into parts of Wyoming County. But no, Buffalo, not much happening right now. So really, even though the lake effect snow warning goes up here in a few minutes, if you had to do some travel now, you're probably in pretty decent shape, at least for the next few hours. It's much later tonight in the metro that things are going to get pretty challenging. There's the visibility right now. We're down to a couple miles in Salamanca, about a mile in Bradford, PA, with fog and light snow. Right now, it's at 36 degrees here in Buffalo. You see the few raindrops on Skywatch 7. The wind is whistling out of the west at 16 miles an hour, so the wind's whistling, the temperature's tumbling, and the lake flakes soon to be flying. It feels like 19 right now in Jamestown, 23 Bradford, PA, and And again, there is a super Doppler and satellite. Really, we're just starting to see the very, very beginnings, the infancy, as it were, of the lake effect bands there into Chautauqua County. And Chautauqua County, again, into ski country, the same spots that got hit so hard may very well get hit almost nearly as hard.
Yeah. And I also think if you have, if your travels take you down to Dunkirk or Erie, Pennsylvania, I would say go now instead of tomorrow, because tomorrow is not a good day. Or I would wait till Friday afternoon to do your traveling down that way.
Yeah, that's very good advice.
You certainly don't want to get stranded on the road when it's 22 degrees with gusty winds up to 45 miles an hour. And, you know, I hope you don't run out of gas too. So you got to really, really be prepared. Either go today or wait till Friday if you're going down in that direction.
Yeah, it's really important, I think, to avoid travel altogether on the 90 from, say, about Dunkirk all the way into Pennsylvania. It's just going to be, and we saw what happened last time when a lot of people either didn't heed the warnings or didn't know that the warnings were out there, and they were stranded for hours and hours and hours, and that's a life-threatening situation. So definitely, just stay home, watch us, and we'll keep you posted every step of the way. There's the Super 7-day forecast, by the way. Again, the lake effect snow warning will end on Friday. I think it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Saturday is partly sunny. Sunday, actually a few showers of rain and white snow. And look at this. Does this sound familiar or look familiar? We're nearing 50 again early next week. That's almost exactly what happened just the other week.
Yeah, poor Lake Erie. I wonder if it's going to freeze this year. We're far away from freezing. It's still 43 degrees today and 45 on Ontario. Not a good sign.
not a good sign. That is for sure. So maybe what we should do is just show real quickly here those lake snow totals, our projected snow totals here. Let's see if I can call that up.
I have to say this is wonderful for the ski resorts and for skiers alike too, because we have not had a winter in several years with beneficial snow in the ski resorts south of Buffalo. But right now, I think they're going to fare very well.
Yeah, so. And I know that all the managers, city managers, those in power, shall we say, are certainly keeping an eye on things. Because I see questioners the likelihood of any travel bans in the South towns. I certainly would not rule it out, but
I agree.
It's something that you have to just kind of stay tuned with us on, and we'll keep you posted. But again, there's a look at some of the numbers. Into the Boston Hills, Springville, parts of Chautauqua, Cattaraugus counties, easily anywhere from 2 to 3 feet in the most persistent snow bands. Again, that band will drift into at least South Buffalo, possibly even Metro Buffalo in the wee hours of the morning. So that's probably our best bet for seeing any significant snow. But like Mary Beth and I have been saying, it's going to be one of those situations where, the North towns see very little to anything at all. And maybe South Buffalo gets in on, more than half a foot. But again, the amounts will pick up dramatically as you head down to the summits, the higher hilltops into ski country and even into Wyoming County. And again, the band has legs. So I could easily see a scenario where the Central Finger Lakes are even seeing some accumulating snow from Lake Erie. So that band will certainly pack a punch.
Yeah, I think the wind is going to be a really a big factor tomorrow. I really think wherever that snow is, the visibility is going to be near zero. I think travel could be near impossible in some areas, especially where the snow is falling pretty hard. You're not going to be able to see very far too. And I am concerned about maybe some spotty power outages as well tomorrow. So I would have a plan in place. I would definitely bring out your heavier winter coat or dress in layers, and you will definitely need a hat and good warm gloves as well as we get into the day tomorrow. For all of Western New York, it doesn't matter where you live, whether you live in Niagara Falls or down in Salamanca, you're going to need a heavy jacket with a hat and gloves for sure.
all of us are shivering. Some of us are doing some serious shoveling.
Yes.
And it really doesn't take much snow to cause a whiteout. It lifts, it drifts, and on even a 35 mile per hour wind, it can really cause some big visibility issues. But you can see here that once the winds ramp up 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll stay ramped up all the way through midday and into the early afternoon. Some of those projected gusts that you see there, those are for Buffalo, for the airport, but the higher summits, the ski country, way above 45 miles an hour, 50, even 55 miles per hour, not out of
Even
question.
at Dunkirk, and at Dunkirk, they had a 47 mile an hour wind gust projected for tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. So the wind is going to be a really, really big factor. But I think the snow bands are going to start to really lighten up as we get into Friday. Right about lunchtime, I think we should be clearing out for the start of the weekend, at least.
Yeah,
at least the weekend is going to be nicer.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. In the next 24 to 36 hours are pretty critical at this point. But once we get into the weekend, I think, like you said, Mary Beth, the sun will be out probably in many spots Friday afternoon, and this polar punch will be out of here, and milder Pacific air will work in, and ski country will get a break. But I don't think anybody who's a skier or snowboarder is going to be complaining about some of this snow. Once it's over, said and done with Holiday Valley being open, I think there'll be a lot of people out over the weekend hitting the slopes.
And I also think folks should secure their outside holiday decorations. If you got the big blow up Santa or snowman, you might want to deflate it for a day. Just give them a little vacation for at least 24 to 36 hours. And you can put them back up.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'll go sailing into somebody else's backyard.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap things up here. So thanks so much for joining us and joining the conversation. I'm 7 Weather meteorologist Josh Nichols.
Take care.
So long.